Hello and welcome to the video for this Seiko. This is the 5M62 with a date complication in the diver's style and is also known as the BFK, which I shan't go into, but BFK is what it's known as. I don't quite know the reference actually. I think SRP 271 or something like that. But I like these. They're a chunky watch. They're a man's watch. And they're solidly built. They're well known for their reputation of being a proper heavy-duty Garda watch, I suppose. Go anywhere, do anything type of watch. Looks really pretty in this black dial with the bezel. The bezel rotates nicely. I shouldn't say pretty, really, should I, for a man's watch? Manly. Anyway, a screw back case. Marked up with the Seiko scuba diver symbol, and I've replaced the capacitor just last night. I put a new capacitor in it, and when you press the power reserve button you will observe the seconds hand go right the way around 30 seconds. So that capacitor is as fully charged as it can go, so it gives a full 30-second reading. As they get lower they read 25, 15 and so forth, and the one that came out of it only read 5 seconds, but it was still fine actually. It was still keeping time, but that means the power reserve would be fairly limited. You probably might only last about 2 days on the shelf, but this should last a month, I think, if not longer. So we've got the power reserve button and we've got a screw down crown, so always nice to have that screw down crown to give it its quoted 200 meters water resistance. It's not pressure checked or anything, so introduce it to water at your peril. It's got hacking, so when you pull the crown out the seconds hand stops. Everything's really nicely loomed in there, and I think I've put a loom shot on there. The hands spin beautifully, and we've got that date complication there at 3 o'clock hiding away. It's small and it's in colour with white numerals on it, and we've got Seiko at the top and Kinetic at divers 200 meters. And this isn't the one with the X and the prospect, but I'm not minding about that. It sort of keeps the dial a bit cleaner. But those hands are beautiful and skeletized with great big pointers at the end, and all looks very pleasant. So we've done the bezel, we've done the screw down crown. It's not marked or signed, as one would say, and we'll move on to the case. So the case is practically brushed all around, bar for a small amount of polishing on the chamfers just there. The bezel's in really nice condition. That's probably an aluminium insert, but it's not scuffed up and marked like so many of the others. I can give you a better shot. There will be a very few minor marks there if you look under macro, and hopefully my shots of it will demonstrate that. These lovely solid N-link fittings. Takes a 20mm strap, goes up to 24 there, and then heads south down to a slightly narrower fitment. The Seiko clasp all works nicely, and it's got double security pushers, so you clip that down, fits lovely, and there's no dramas with the clasp at all. The clasp also has 4 micro adjusts, and currently it's sized for my 16.75 centimeter wrist, and we've got just under a centimetre of micro adjust to head outwards. So in theory this watch will fit a wrist of 17.5 centimetres with this strap on, so you may wish to purchase another strap or find some links to go in there. It's quite a popular watch. There should be links around. It's a shame, but that's just the way it is on this one, and it does fit me a treat actually. The dimensions of the case are 42mm from the edge of the case to the edge of the bezel there, and I reckon we've got probably 5 or 6mm moving towards the outside of the crown and those crown guards. The height from the rear of the case to the top of the bezel is 14.4 or so, and you can see the bezel is slightly proud of the actual crystal. It doesn't say sapphire crystal anywhere on this actually, so whether that is mineral or crystal or sapphire, it's difficult to say. We can see that lovely chapter ring. It's got a beautiful depth to it, this watch. It does look well, I'm not the best of watch reviewers, I'm afraid, but there is depth there to that dial. So clasp brushing on the bracelet, which has got some scuffs and marks on it, but in general this watch is actually quite nice condition. It's not too bad at all. I've seen a lot worse. They can get very battered because people wear them for everything really, because they are a decent, reliable, heavy-duty watch. Loom pip is nicely inserted and still immaculate in the top there at the 12 o'clock position. We've done the power reserve, we've got the sizing, we know it's a screw back case. The crystal is immaculate, probably leaning towards a sapphire crystal because it surely would have picked up a scratch or two, but it's looking very, very clean. The inside of the dial's looking very nice, hands are looking good. I've had a good look over it on macro, and with that new capacitor makes it a nice usable watch. Should last 7 years minimum with that capacitor. Give it a shake every now and again because there is a rotor in there that spins, and that will charge, well, that is connected to a generator which then charges the capacitor cell. So it's just like a button cell battery, but it recharges as opposed to just discharges, so it works in both directions. Right, I think that's it. If you've got any questions, I didn't do lug tip to lug tip. So lug tip to lug tip is about 50 millimeters, and as you can see it hangs down pretty direct off of those, so we get a nice drop straight down. So it's just over 50 on the drop. So wrist wise I think you want to be at least 16.75 centimeters. Don't know what that is in inches, but I think otherwise your wrist will be maybe a bit too small for this one, but that's purely personal preference. So anyway, there we are. That's 5M62 OBLO or 0BL0. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.